Big shout out today's sponsor, Liquid IV. More on that later though. The current theme of Minecraft 1.20 is self-expression and storytelling, a pretty big umbrella. There also seems to be a common trend of new variants of things that already kind of exist, like transportation mobs. With all that in mind, I thought it would be fun to take a look at some more features that could blend perfectly into 1.20. Drop one thing you need to see in 1.20 down below, and let's talk about mob heads. Snapshot 22 W46A added a brand new functionality to mob heads. Basically, you place them on top of a note block, power that note block, and you get like the best prank of all time. Now, this is going to work with all existing mob heads, including the brand new Piglin mob head. But, Piglin, I mean, they're great and all, but they're kind of new. Minecraft's got a lot of mobs. It would probably get pretty cluttered if we added a mob head for every single type of mob, but out of the classic mobs, these three definitely already have mob heads in the game. What about our poor friend, the Enderman, or maybe even the Spider? I mean, these things have been in the game way longer than the Piglin, and they don't get a mob head. I think it'd definitely be fair to at least take a look at some of the classic mobs in the game, and maybe add mob heads for them too. Speaking of things that have been in the game for like a long time, the wolf. Did you know that the wolf was added to Minecraft like specifically 1.5 million years ago? It's been a long time. Relatively speaking, at least relative to the cat, the wolf is ancient. Cats were updated in the Village and Pillage update and got a ton of amazing variants. It's really cool. Lads, laddies, everybody, I would like to welcome you to the beautiful future. Welcome to the future of new dogs. They look so good, right? There we go. That's a lot more like him. Tell me why nowadays dogs are still like one dog. It's not even a thing. That shouldn't be legal. I mean, look at this thing. It's a Bernese Mountain Dog in Minecraft. It's literally my boy Felix. I need it now. For the longest time, I thought it was a bad idea to update the chest and maybe add more variants. Like, why? What's the point? But with the addition of bamboo mosaic and just more interesting wood in general, I think my opinion has changed. Now might be the perfect time to add brand new chest variants into the game. Now, with the mod that I'm using, this is an iron chest and a diamond chest. They're absolutely gigantic. Maybe not that. Instead of that, I'm thinking something a little more stripped back and basic. You take this thing and turn it red, like, ooh, yeah. That red chest right there, that's a warped one. Whoa, that blue one, that's a cool, wait, I just swapped the names. Dang it. Just like mobs, Minecraft's got a lot of structures. If we were going to take a look at every single structure in the game and maybe try and overhaul it, that would be a massive update. Instead of going structure by structure and maybe redoing them entirely, how about updating small pieces of structures just to make them feel a little bit more alive? We'll talk about the Stronghold right now. The Stronghold, I mean, there's an obvious giant opportunity here. With a brand new beautiful chisel bookshelf item and a literal library built into the game. We need the chisel bookshelf inside of this thing. If you've been to a Stronghold library and know how they work, then you know that usually loot is stored inside of a chest hidden up on the second story, and sometimes more chests exist on the first story too. Look, not only am I the most handsome, but also, I guess pretty intelligent too, because idea right here. You take the normal bookshelf, swap it out for a brand new chisel bookshelf, and maybe put some book loot inside of it. These chisel bookshelves could randomly generate inside of the structure, and there doesn't have to be very many. They also don't have to be full, definitely not. You could have just a couple books inside of these things, mainly consisting of filler books, but sometimes you get that sweet enchanted book. Before we get too far into things, I'd like to take a quick second to talk to you about Liquid IV, today's video sponsor. Question, do you ever find yourself doing strenuous or non-strenuous things? For example, digging or maybe making YouTube videos? Maybe while you're doing those things, you feel yourself getting more dehydrated. Do you sweat a lot? Like, a lot? You're losing all of that precious water? Or maybe, do you ever find yourself just craving some of that sweet hydration? Well, then Liquid IV is the thing for you. Liquid IV is essentially the best hydration upgrade in the game. Now, you know I don't do tons of sponsors, and that's because I'm super selective. I only want to talk about things I'm currently loving or vibing with myself. And Liquid IV, it's it. Check this out. Liquid IV uses cellular transport technology, or CTT, to essentially increase the rate at which you're getting hydrated. It's super sciencey stuff. All of that science essentially amounts to Liquid IV hydrating you, and hydrating you good at that. Liquid IV actually provides 2 times faster hydration than just plain old water. Even better, it's easy. Mix a stick of Liquid IV into your water, shake it up, and enjoy. That's it. Right now, I've been personally loving that Concord grape flavor. That's all the grape goodness you need in your life. Another one I can recommend is passion fruit. Passion fruit is so good too. If you'd like to try these hydration multiplier flavors, click the link down below. It's in the description, or use code WADDLES at checkout for 20% off plus free shipping. And it helps Minecraft's most handsome out too. Huge thank you to Liquid IV for sponsoring today's video. The stuff is great. Moving on, and next up, let's take a look at that beautiful brand new bamboo wood set, because this stuff's perfection. The big thing that I like to talk about is the bamboo mosaic. You've got a very interesting looking version of the planks, and on top of that flawless beauty, you also have an insanely simple crafting recipe. To craft that mosaic, remember, there's going to be 2 slabs like this. And speaking of slabs, they kind of already exist for every single other wood type. What I'm definitely not saying is take the bamboo mosaic and copy it to the other wood types. That should be the bamboo's thing. But what I am saying is take some of the other wood types and maybe add a new customizable or like interesting looking block. Take the bottom of the barrel, for example. Look at that spruce texture. I mean, similar to the plain old plank texture, but definitely different. The time is now. You should be able to place 2 slabs inside of the crafting table and get some kind of unique carved version of whatever wood type you're working with. Kind of like you can with all the chisel blocks in the game. It's a great way to add a little bit more personalization and maybe even storytelling to your build. But if we're gonna add more wood types to the game, things are gonna get cluttered. Look, nothing personal to bamboo at all, but if I want to craft that bamboo mosaic block, first I need to go in the crafting table and do this. Then I need to take this and do that. Then what I need to do is realize I didn't even craft enough, and so I need to do that again, and then I need to do this over here, and then I need to do that, and then finally I need to do that. That's like a million steps. It's time for the saw to be added to the game. When the stonecutter was added to the game in 1.14, I loved it, and in future updates, especially when they added something like cobbled deepslate to the game, the stonecutter just got better and better and better. I mean, imagine trying to craft all of these variants of deepslate without the stonecutter. This new saw would be exactly what you think it would be. It would essentially be a stonecutter except for wood. Maybe it could even come with a brand new villager profession. Crafting recipe? I've already got it for you. It's right there. There's no way you haven't heard about it by now, but the camel, in case you haven't I guess, is a brand new rideable mob for the overworld. This thing is amazing. It's so good. Equally as amazing, but even more adorable, we've got the Strider, essentially the Nether's version of the horse. Traveling inside of the Nether with the Strider is great, but it could be better. If we're gonna add a new transportation mob to the overworld, why not one more for the Nether too? Take a look at this terrain over here. This is not uncommon Nether terrain. Traveling in the Nether might be a little bit tricky because things go like up and down, there's big gaps and things like that. Concept, a spider, except inside of the Nether, and also you can put a saddle on top of it and ride it. But it's like different. So for starters, the why? Well, it's pretty simple. Look what that spider just did. It climbed to clean up that wall. That would help you navigate the Nether terrain big time. Seems overpowered? Yeah, sure, definitely could be overpowered. So to fix that one, all you need to do is you see that little hotbar thing right there that charges up when I dash? Well, that's your timer. You can only climb up a wall or a surface for so long. Once that hotbar runs out, then you fall and there's a cooldown. I mean, I don't know, what do you think about that? I feel like that's a good way to balance that, right? Look, don't get me wrong, I definitely think it's a great thing that bamboo is finally getting a wood type and its whole, like, update of its own, a big giant expansion. That's great. Like I said, I mean, bamboo's been in the game for a long time. It definitely deserved an update, but it definitely feels like there's a different thing in the game that is, like, maybe even closer to a tree and kind of deserves a wood type of its own. Oh. Haha, that old thing. Yeah, a wood type.
A wood type would be nice.
Dead bushes exist in the game. Cactus, they also exist in the game. Unfortunately, parrots exist in the game too. With features like the chisel bookshelf to the bookshelf and the camel to the horse, we've already mentioned how a lot of the 1.20 things are variants on pre-existing things. The fateful day of 2019, the year, the biome, Badlands, the features, tumbleweed, a prickly pear cactus, and of course, soaring in the sky, the vulture, all kind of relating to things already in the game. I mean, for starters, tumbleweed, movable dead bush, prickly pear cactus, maybe a brand new cactus food, and then the vulture. I mean, look, to be honest, there's nothing even close to the vulture. We need the vulture now. I'm gonna be honest, out of all of the Minecraft biomes in the game, I feel like the Badlands needs an update the least. However, when I was working on this video, I did realize that all of the proposed Badlands biome features would fit kind of perfectly into 1.20. What do you think? Is 1.20 finally the time for the Badlands biome update? Hey, you know what? Speaking of features that are kind of an update on things already in the game, the sign. Of course, the hanging sign. How did I forget about this thing until now? The hanging sign is such a cool block, and it's cool for a couple different reasons. I mean, for starters, hanging sign, that's pretty great, but for not starters, this thing, that top pole on a hanging sign right there, look at that thing. It's so cool looking, and you can stand on it too. Imagine being able to craft just this part of the hanging sign, like that top,
Walking a tightrope beam thing?
Yeah. Imagine being able to craft just that, and then maybe just hang something from it. By making this top small thing its own proper thing in the game, this means you can change the sign recipe too. Maybe inside of a crafting table, you craft just the face of the sign. Then you could either craft a pole that you could combine with the sign, or you could craft this thing right there, and then hang the sign off of it. But again, it's not all about the sign. It's more so about being able to hang other things and just decorate with that in general. I need it right now. When it comes to making the game feel a little bit more alive, a little bit more personalized, the time is now. And more mobs for ambiance added to the game in 1.20. Now these vibey mobs can come in a couple different forms, maybe like birds or something, but personally, I like the idea of insects the most. Take a look at what the devs did with the bee in Minecraft 1.15. The bee is such a small addition, but maybe big. They're pretty big. In the grand scheme of things, it's a relatively small addition, but it's completely leveled up an area. Seeing these things fly around every once in a while, it makes it feel a lot more alive. One mob that I think would be great for ambiance would be a butterfly. They could live in biomes where there are a lot of flowers, or maybe even be attracted by certain types of flowers. The different flowers could attract different butterflies to your beautiful build. A couple of months ago, the devs did a Reddit AMA. We've talked about it quite a bit. In this Reddit AMA, Olraf stated that interesting mob interactions would definitely fit into 1.20. Interesting mob interactions like villager interactions, new villager profession. It's time. This is finally time. Update the villagers a little bit more with a couple new jobs. I mean, think about it. How cool would it be going forward to have new villager professions included in updates? With 1.19, I don't know if there's really any way you could have had a new villager job, but like 1.15, for example, a beekeeper villager. This beekeeper villager would be able to sell you or maybe buy from you honeycomb, maybe a little bit of honey going on, flowers because they directly relate to the bees, and then copper, of course. I love this idea so much, and because I do, it's something that I brought up before. To make the feature even more interesting, maybe these are secret professions, meaning like you need to craft this thing and place it down and see what happens. You will never find a beekeeper villager at a village waiting, ready to go. You'll have to make it. Guys, the idea of the bamboo mosaic has lit a fire inside of me, and it's been burning, raging, ever since. I can't stop thinking about it. Once I tell you about this one, you will never be able to forget it again. So, bamboo mosaic. It's kind of like a brand new patterned block to a block family that's in the game, right? Speaking of block families that are in the game, we've got Deepslate. Deepslate is an amazing block family because you have so many different options. You got that polished version, you got that brick version, you've even got that tiled version. How about the granite? Take a look at granite. Compared to Deepslate, it's a little bit lacking inside of here, right? Look at all of these beautiful brick blocks in the game. I mean, heck, we've got endstone, we've got quartz, it's in the nether, we've got Deepslate mud, granite bricks, andesite bricks, and yes, even diorite bricks. I think it's time. I hate to say it, but in the case of diorite, and definitely in the case of granite, this would be like a builder's dream come true. I mean, imagine this texture, but with like that slight diorite tone, or the granite tone. The granite tone is really, really good. In the case of andesite, things would be a little bit different. It might be similar to stone bricks, so I don't know, maybe andesite tiles. They could even have some unique textures, kind of like the bamboo mosaic. It's such an opportunity, right? According to none other than Olraf himself, mysterious structures is definitely within the realm of possibilities for Minecraft 1.20. To me, the ruined portal and all of the mysteries that could pop up around that thing, it's just one of the biggest mysteries in the entire game. Here, I present you the brand new lost cabin structure that could be in 1.20. If we walk up to this thing, we'll see that it's clearly like empty. It's been abandoned for a while. We go ahead and walk into this thing, check it out. We get a little bit of loot and paper. Up on top of this thing, we have yet another ladder, and then, what is this? This is weird. Like any smart adventurer would do, I will decide to pick that up, put that there, and oh no. Oh no. Whoops, guys, I accidentally summoned in the Wither Storm. Maybe that's not in vanilla, but like in abandoned building. Yeah, you get the point. Whoops, my bad. The stronghold is old, a little bit dusty, could definitely use an update. Another structure that feels a little bit old, at least to me, it's gotta be the mine shaft. As you might remember, maybe even painfully, depending on who you are, the Mineshaft had a proposed update for 1.20. The Rascal update in Minecraft 1.20, well, that's definitely not happening, but at least updating the structure a little bit with like some different wood types every once in a while. Maybe a little bit more interestingness to the layouts, including some small rooms you could find. Or even, and this is maybe my favorite one, but some kind of branch that cuts straight up to the surface every once in a while. This isn't something that would happen every single time, but when it does happen, it would be intriguing. It'd kind of be like this cave, except smaller. A small 3x3 hole in the ground cutting all the way down to a mine shaft. Do you jump down or do you not? Decisions. This next one is so simple. Take a look at this lantern. This is beautiful, right? Like super useful. It's time to change the recipe. You see, ever since their addition, it's always been the torch, and it's efficient, it's easy, but it's 2022 now, and torches are out. Instead of torches, it's time for the candle. Now, this new recipe might be a little bit more annoying because candles are like less common than torches. However, by placing a candle inside of the lantern recipe, it unlocks colored lanterns, and it's so easy too. Take the soul lantern, for example, a blue torch. It would kind of be just like this, except for every other color in the rainbow too. Candles are pretty dim though, like way dimmer than your standard lantern, so this could maybe even be a brand new type of lantern alongside the current existing ones. So I'm gonna be honest, our final update today is the update that I'm least sure of, and that's why I put it last. So let me know what you think about it. The load zone is a very expensive block, definitely a little bit more late game than say a beehive or something like that. If you went through the trouble to mine ancient debris and use it on a load zone, should you be rewarded with a brand new villager profession, the Nether Trader? This new Nether related trader could be able to sell you Nether related things, like Nether Wart. But at the same time, I don't know. Should villagers really interact with the Nether like that? Let me know what you think about that one and all of the other updates we talked about down in the comments below. If you could add one thing to 1.20, but it has to fit in somehow, what would it be? Big thanks to Liquid IV for sponsoring this video. Big thanks to you for watching this video. It's been me, Waddles, this week coming very, very soon. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.